That's today.
Hello.
Wait. We're sculpting today. I thought Hawkins was
We are.
begging for another. I thought Hawkins was begging us for an appearance today.
He
No.
hasn't paid us enough yet. I haven't seen the check in the mail yet from Ron. Welcome everybody.
Okay.
Tuesday, January 11th, 5 p.m. Central Time. Welcome to the Crow's Nest, and we're doing something different today. What are we doing, Jason?
Well, you seem to think that I can teach you how to sculpt, so we're going to try that.
Okay. It seems like we got everything out and ready to go sculpting. So I'm excited about it. I'm super excited. We've been teasing this for months and months, but today's our first attempt is teaching me how to sculpt traditionally, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And
traditionally, we'll get to digital, sure.
Okay. Yeah. But we're traditional right now. Yeah.
Well,
you got to learn
I
this
honestly
first.
think traditional is a good way to start.
Yeah. Hey, because since we always forget, Poke Tool, for every 5 subs, we're going to give away a Poke Tool. So get in early, and throw some subs in, and we will give away as many Poke Tools as we possibly can. So.
Yeah. So a couple of things right off the bat. I put a link in the chat. If you noticed, we have a theme song now, and that was composed by Matt Lefebvre, and percussion was done by Kyle Potter, and they were kind enough to make us a couple of different sound clips for our theme song.
Does it seem like we're really professional now, or just kind of?
We're getting there.
Hold on, I can fix that. Hold on. I wouldn't want that to...
The professionalism?
We can't mess. We have to fix that. We have to...
Oh, Justin's whipping stuff around. I was just about to say, Justin's one of the best in the business. You need a producer that will honestly tell you if the gun is loaded or not.
Yeah, we...
Too soon. Too soon.
Gosh. Wow.
That's
Justin tells you that. He ain't lying, man.
Woo.
Man. Oh, did somebody not know who was who? Or
No. I just wanted to make sure. Hold on.
He decided
that we weren't professional
now.
Yeah, I have to fix that. Or really, if I want to mess with people, I just take the background and just shift it a little bit like this. And just
right. Ooh, that'll drive you crazy. That'll make him.
So the other thing I'd like to mention here is we have some really neat sculpting tools that are handmade by Stefan Nihus Ellerman of Bees Putty fame, and they're really cool. He sent us a basic tool, which is 2 tools and 4 tips, and as you can see, you can take them apart, put them back together in different formations. And if you go to his website, beesputty.com, he not only has one of the premier polymer sculpting clays available, but also all these wondrous tools and several different tips for these holders. I was able to get from him these, he made these sculpting calipers, and I have a set for you, Michael. I just didn't send it to you today.
Ooh. Hey, tip that you taught me before the show. If you order these things, they come in this nice little kit, and they'll come mounted like this. Make sure you unscrew them. They don't just slide off; they're screwed in. Because why, Jason?
I was so excited to open these wonderful tools that I snapped the little nubs off, and I actually had to drill them out with the Dremel tools, the little plastic bits, before it could get to work. But do screw them off, and don't be ham-handed like me.
And then you can create 2 tools out of them, right?
Yep.
Is there two that you match together more? Like, should I have
right now I think we have the same tip assortment. I have the little tiny saber end, and
just
I have
the tip.
The spoon end right there. Okay.
Okay. And you have the spoon
it's
end
close
and
to
which end?
the legendary Wax 5. It's close. Bryce mentioned the green user sculpting tool, and I have one too that I actually made
Oh,
a bigger handle for, but it's got a similar configuration. It's got a little saber end. I call it a saber end, but it's a flat, and then
can I show
like
off
this
my
burnisher.
green user's
Yeah,
special tool since
yeah, that's the
they
same I
are
have.
this?
I just again I have ham hands, so I had to put a bigger shaft on it.
This is an
Reminder
honored
too.
gift of mine.
By the way,
Honored
reminder
gift.
too for the both of you that if you want to punch in with your camera manually with your document cameras, feel free. Like if you want to show something up close, feel free to do that. Yeah, like that, just like that.
How do we do that?
Just like that.
There's my thumb. That's my thumb.
And there goes the
That's a thumb.
professionalism. That's perfect.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, and it's important to read the cards. Do not heat up this tools. Let me. Maybe did Hawkins was Hawkins involved in the proofreading of this document as well? Do not heat up this tools.
I don't think that's an under the bus thing. I think that's
Pretty factual.
Well, yeah, he doesn't want to heat them up because I mean, if you look the little knurling on there, I think is probably susceptible to warping if you heat them up.
Shouldn't it be don't heat up these tools instead of this
right?
tool,
And there's a
tools?
reason. There's actually a reason for that because some of us old sculptors do heat up the end of a tool sometimes for different textures.
Ah, okay. I was thinking more from a grammar standpoint.
Oh, well, you go ahead and correct.
What does your grandmother have to do with this?
Yeah. Okay, so
I miss my Gram.
Michael, what is it you wanted to sculpt?
Oh, a dragon.
Post TOS discussion. Keep in mind that, like the post TOS discussion. What did you want to sculpt?
Post TOS. What's TOS?
Terms of service?
Yes.
Is there stuff we can't sculpt?
When we first asked you that what you wanted to sculpt, Michael,
we're not in a hot tub or anything.
We couldn't sculpt. So.
Okay.
Oh.
So what legitimate like? Okay. Yeah. We were gonna sculpt a squirrel.
Yeah. And I think for purposes of instruction, we should start out maybe with a somewhat larger squirrel, and then once you're familiar with the sculpting, we'll make one the actual size that you want it for. I think you had a diorama idea.
I do have a diorama idea, but I want to learn to sculpt a squirrel. A screaming squirrel. Yes, Bryce, it will be a screaming squirrel.
Yes, it's a screaming squirrel. I don't have the picture that Michael texted me, but
yeah,
I don't even.
It
think
looks
we
like
can
a
show
squirrel, but it's screaming. Yeah, I did text you a picture of a screaming squirrel.
Well, I was going to use that. So
it was related.
I thought that was the squirrel you wanted to do.
Let's just go with that.
Okay. All right. Well,
so I have my tools, and you sent a bunch of cool things.
I did.
You sent.
If you have any questions of them, now's a good time to ask.
This is new to me. Skinner's vaporizing salve, and my limited sculpting attempts in the past, I've always had Vaseline, and this one it's pretty empty. It was an old Vaseline that we had that you don't use very much, so this was perfect. Why is Skinner's better than
Skinner's
Vaseline?
is essentially the same. It's a similar idea to like Vapo Rub because it's got a little menthol in it. I don't know if the menthol makes a difference, but the petroleum that's in it seems to be of a lighter weight. So you don't have to use very much. It doesn't gum up the putty as bad. It's easier to dissolve off with dish soap. If you're going to paint your green or if you're going to send it in to be cast, it's always a good idea to wash it up because you're going to be using this. Mostly it works really well with the putty formulation that I have.
Ooh, it's intense smelling too.
Yeah, it's a little bright on the nose, but it's not a bad smell.
Yeah. No, it's not. kind of wakes you up. All right.
Yeah. So Skinner balm, you can usually find it in health food stores. I
so let's
ordered
plug
online because. Oh, go ahead.
Let's plug Bees Putty a little bit more. We're not going to be using this today, but we will be using it in the future.
Yeah, Stefan was kind enough to include some fresh Bees Putty.
Okay.
And that's a polymer clay, and this is I don't think I have mine handy. Does it say, is it firm, extra firm?
It Stefan's Choice triple firm.
Okay.
Triple firm.
Okay.
Hey, so
I
have to bake this after we're done, right? This is one that you put in the oven.
Yeah, if we were to use that, which we're not going to start with that, but
okay,
it has a number of benefits, not the least of which is you can keep reworking it, and it doesn't make a solid commitment like epoxy putty does. So
why is this stuff better than? Why is this stuff better than the stuff I could get like at Michael's or Hobby Lobby? You know, those little putty squares that you can buy.
I'm not sure of the formula. I think maybe the name Bees Putty might indicate that it has some different additives than a regular polymer clay. I don't think he's actually added bees to it, but maybe
it's not edible.
I'm not sure. It seems like a finer grain putty. It works a little bit better for me.
Okay.
I learned to like it after a while. For a while, I fought it. I mean, I fought the whole idea of using polymer clay for a miniature for a long time. You can even mix some of it with the green putty if you want a stiffer clay. Okay. So
you also sent some. You sent some calipers.
Yeah, micrometer.
Okay.
And that's just in case we're trying to sculpt the same thing, whatever. It's helpful. Okay. It's helpful sometimes to measure stuff. I learned that the hard way.
You sent a emery pen?
Yep. Yeah, that and some. I didn't send any files, but if you have some files,
no.
One of the peculiarities of the putty that we're going to be using is it's depending on how much Aves you put in the mix, it can go rock hard, which makes it real nice if you want to do some carving after the putty is set up. It sands well, cool. It scrapes well, and I'm going to show you a little trick as we're going when you have some extra putty to just make a really quick sword blank or blanks for things later on to whittle on with your sandpaper and your files.
I have files, by the way.
Good. Are those diamond files?
In case we need them. Yeah, these are super old.
Yeah, it might clog up the diamond files, but
yeah, I clean them.
We'll actually
what else did
carve
you send?
Most of it.
You sent. This looks like a very technical tool.
This is very hard to find. That's a Pigma pen. The ink is actually taken out of it, the ink cartridge and a little nib, because that's one of the most accessible ways to get a really narrow gauge round dot maker.
Cool.
You see in the end is an impression tool. Yeah. So that's a good way to do that. Another way would be to don't throw away your used brushes. Take the bristles out, and a lot of times that ferrule is a good thing to use for an impression.
I have a few of those that I had made over the years when I've inevitably destroyed a brush. Here's one.
Yeah. There you go. I wasn't sure what you had, so I tried to throw some stuff.
I took one and I filed it at an angle, thinking that might be something that's useful too. See that angle?
Yeah, could be. That's a good angle. Nice filing.
Thank you.
Justin, how encouraging do I have to be? Because this is getting really old.
Ooh.
Okay, fine. You can activate Gordon Ramsay if that's what you feel you need to do.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Sorry, Michael.
So now
here's this tool.
That's a very basic tool. A lot of times people hand those out when you take sculpting classes at ReaperCon.
What's this end
called?
It's a
saber end and the spoon end.
This is a
saber?
Call
it a knife I call it saber tip, but I have no idea. Now, the thing is, those are very inexpensive dental tools. and
Uh-huh.
very often they have a burr on them as they're ground to shape. So it's very helpful to take that fine emery board or a whetstone and go around the edges a little bit and take off all the roughness, because you don't want the roughness there tearing at your putty. You want it to be smooth all the way over. That's pretty good.
So my mom in college was she did the baton thingy in front of her college marching band. She threw it up in the air. So I have that innate skill.
So it's genetic, is what you're saying.
It's genetic.
That's handy. No, that's handy.
Okay.
That's very
and
handy.
Then clay shapers.
Yeah. Again, I wasn't sure what clay shapers you had, so I had some extras. I tossed them in there. This is the white tip ones, which are a little bit softer. They're a little bit softer. So
I have a black
it's
one.
a matter of personal preference.
Okay.
The thing is, with even with the darker tipped ones, as you use them, you'll be using a little bit of that Skinner balm, and over time they will soften. So they're
okay.
You can sharpen them up again, but it's usually better just to buy a new one.
Yeah, I've always heard firmer is better. And tweezers. Are these special tweezers?
I find those are special tweezers. The curve shape, and there's a certain springiness to them, and there's no way to tell. I mean, I go to different shows and swap meets where they have buckets of these things, these dental tools, and so you want one with a little spring to it, but the curve shape seems best of all.
Okay,
you don't want one that's mushy. You see the difference?
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that too. You don't want mushy.
Yeah, boy, you're on a roll today, Michael. I had no idea that sculpting would inflame your passion like this.
This tool excited me.
Yeah. Okay. That's an oiler. Okay.
Okay.
These are originally made for delicate mechanisms like watches, and there's a little tiny scoop on the end that you can get a drop of oil to adhere to and drop it into the mechanism. They come in several different sizes, but what it winds up being is the smallest spoon tool that you can buy.
Oh my God,
yeah, it's tiny. Smaller ones, and there are smaller ones even of those, but once they get smaller than that, they enter your flesh way too easily.
We don't want that.
No.
And that's the cap.
No, I tried to keep it Michael Proctor friendly, but I don't know how well.
Oh, look at this. And we got some wire today.
Some wire, too. Yeah.
For conducting electricity.
For armatures.
Armatures. Got it.
Yeah, a lot of people solder together an armature, but I didn't figure we had time for that today.
No, Kev White does that.
Yeah, and it's a good technique. I like thicker wire and having it soldered together, but we're just going to use copper wire and work harden it, and that'll do.
And
now those are beads made out of lava. Lava rock, and we use those for texturing bases, all sorts of stuff as a stamp.
Okay, cool. And I think I showed everything up. Oh, I did. You had sent this, which might be too small, so I just got some plastic card, made it a little bit bigger. It's work area for myself. Is that okay?
Okay, I didn't send that as a work area, but that's okay.
Oh, what did you send? What is this for? Visor?
Well, it's
protective.
Yeah, visor. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
That's that polyethylene plastic. That's actually the divider from one of those Plano the boxes. And the benefit of that is the putty sticks to it, but then will release with enough pressure. So you can actually make very flat back stuff with that. If you're trying to match two shapes, mirror image them, you sculpt one on one side and you flip it over, you let harden and then flip it over and copy that same shape, and you can sculpt the mirror image really well.
What's better for camera, Justin? This by itself or this with the white background? Does it matter?
Neither are all that great, to be honest. But
Okay.
probably maybe without the background. Actually, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's ask the audience. What do you guys think? With or without the white background? A darker background might actually be better, but we'll see.
Well,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. We're not going to be sculpting on that most of the time anyway.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
That's
All
just
right.
for a few techniques I want to show.
Now,
okay,
more supplies.
more supplies. So
Multiple
the
people are
sculpting
saying
putty,
yes.
after many years, that turned out to be my favorite was an equal blend of kneaded tight green putty, which is of course the famous blue and yellow, and this epoxy sculpt. And I usually use the natural color. Epoxy sculpt is a different sort of putty. It's got a little bit more polyester fill, so it's a little bit harder. That particular
Did I order
color,
the wrong kind?
No, what kind did you get?
The epoxy sculpt
You got a
B
broken
and
lid
A.
on it.
I know it came
Yeah.
this way.
What did I tell you? It's natural, right? Yeah.
I don't. Is that natural? Looks natural. It doesn't look
Yeah.
unnatural. There we go.
Yeah, that's the color. This is a putty that was first popularized by taxidermists.
Oh.
And that color you use for repairing antlers. You mix it with a little oil paint to get the right tone if you have a damaged antler.
For those that don't know, what's the history of knead tight green stuff?
Well, kneaded tight, I believe, and Bob and Julie probably know more about than I do, but I think it was first popularized as a sculpting material by Tom Meyer. And
I always heard that it was before
it
that.
lived life as a humble plumbing putty.
Yeah. Because you can mix it together and it'll harden in water, right?
Yeah. And I've made plumbing repairs with it, and I think
I have
the last repair I did with it was the base on a basketball hoop.
Yeah, one of our
you've
pipes.
made it too?
Correct. Yeah, and I turned off the water.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm like, wait, and it works totally. Worked great.
It does work. Eventually, you want to get someone that knows what they're doing to actually fix the pipe, but
this has been like 4 years, so it's still working.
Yeah. So I also sent you two little metal tins they came out a while ago with snus, which is a Swedish type powdered tobacco.
We do not support the use of tobacco.
We're not endorsing that. I use them like I use Altoids tins, and the idea is that we'll mix up some putty, and eventually we'll have the two sides just like we do now. And you'll want to store that separately. With both of these kinds of epoxy putty, it's good to keep them cold. People keep it in the refrigerator and stuff. The most important thing is to keep them in containers and keep them separated. Right? So
separated.
When I've got them on my bench, there's one on one side and one on the other, and then that way it doesn't start to activate.
What kind of separation do you need to keep them from activating?
Just you don't. I just
close?
don't keep mine stacked right next to each other. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can get any number of things. Screw top polyethylene bottles are really good, but I had these because they pack really well in my travel sculpting kit. You can't bring a lot of putty, obviously, but that's enough for a couple 3 miniatures.
Cool.
Once you fill
that's
that
fun.
in.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So on mine, I've actually taken and. Let's see, I'm not used to using this camera.
You might want to zoom out. It's easier to zoom out and then...
Okay, there. Yeah. See, so on mine, I wrote the legend of what we're going to mix.
Okay.
So the mnemonic for this mixture is B plus blue. Okay, so side B on the A's and the blue side on the Knead-A-Tight. If you mix those together, they don't harden up, right?
Okay.
So that becomes your blue side.
B is blue. Got it.
B plus blue.
B plus blue. Okay.
And then A plus yellow will go in your other container.
Okay. And those two go together. Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got it?
Hey, before we forget, I want to give a shout out really quickly to Trey Manor. For those that don't know, Redbox Games is doing a Kickstarter. And I'm sure most of us know on the show, but it's Warbands of the Cold North 6. They have 136 backers so far, 16 days ago. It's a pretty quick Kickstarter. He's really only looking for $5,000. He's at 7,700 right now. So go check it out. Trey Manor, friend of the show. He's into digital sculpting now and has been showing a ton of stuff off on Facebook, and it's awesome. And it's still Trey, and it's digital, and it's great. No promises, but chances are we may have him on next week if we can get everything worked out. So just FYI. So that's my shout out. Go check out Trey. If someone can throw that Kickstarter into the comments, that'd be much appreciated. But please, friend of the show, I think he deserves it. And
yeah,
Jason, you've been checking out those sculpts. Yeah, they're really cool.
For Trey. You need to go look at the sculpts. They're wonderful. I've seen some of the finished work, and it looks really, really good. If you're a fan of Trey Manor sculpts, you definitely need to get in on that. I think
it's so crazy for me, and we'll get to the digital stuff one day, but your style translated into digital. Bobby's did, and Jean's did, and to see Trey it looks like Trey's stuff. I mean, if I didn't know better,
sculpting comes from your brain at some point, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter so much the tools. You're gonna mess with it till it looks like a sculpt that you like, or that's a product of you. So you don't want to be just another soulless, dime a dozen sculpt. You want to actually look like you sculpted it.
Oh, you quoted.
So after a little while, after a couple hundred miniatures, you can start developing a style, and everybody will go, "Look, that's a Michael Proctor sculpt."
Yeah, they'll say his piece has no soul. Rhonda knows that comment.
Could be. No, it'll have soul.
Okay,
it'll have soul.
All right, cool. All right, cool.
Maybe not a lot of other things, but I'll guarantee it'll have soul.
Hey,
so
subs every 5 subs, free Poke Tool. Go ahead.
Man, are we ever going to get to sculpting? Because you've been doing a lot of shit.
I'm ready. I wanted to get through that so we didn't forget them. And now I'm ready to go. All
right. So in looking around for a base, I've used clamp bases and all sorts of bases, but I was actually playing around with this hobby holder that I got in the one of the Reaper swag things. And it's really nifty. It has... You can use just regular bottle tops on it. And if you guys haven't used it, a lot of people use it for painting, but we're going to use it for sculpting today.
Mine came with blue tack underneath.
Yeah, well, this isn't the cap it came with. So.
Oh, do I take this little armature thing off, or are we leaving that on? The little
that's up to you. I found that holding it like this with my finger there is going to give me enough to push against.
Okay.
Like that.
Cool.
You can take that off and put it the other way, but then you're not going to be able to set it down flat.
No, I want to. So, yeah, let's do it that way. Because I had just prepared this. I was just going to do this, but I like your idea better.
Okay, well, that's good too. Whatever you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with.
No, I'm following along with your.
No, I mean, if you're going to teach me how to sculpt, then I'll use your shit.
No. Let's go along with this. What we planned.
Well, I'm glad we got that
straight here. Yeah. I'm just saying, I had a worse idea. Your idea is better, is all I was trying to say.
Well, this is really a neat little thing. So, it's a neat little thing. All right, so you want to get started? What do you want to do? You want to do an armature first? Let's mix up our putty first.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Let me take my rings off. All right. So why don't you see? I took just a slug about that big of the blue.
Okay. Where does it say? I'm going to compare slugs. Looks like my slug might need to be a little bit bigger.
It's not going to matter as long as all of these lumps are about the same size.
Okay, and then I want to get a lump of the bee.
Yep. About the same
kinda
size.
Kind of weird feeling.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Before you start too much, put a little tiny bit of that Skinner balm on your hands because the epoxy sculpt is quite a bit stickier. And if you're like me, the stuff just glues onto the hands. Now, I will say a disclaimer here. If you're got any kind of chemical sensitivity, it's a good thing to wear gloves while you're doing this step.
Yeah, Gene Van Horn.
Well, my hands are trashed anyway from years and years of various different chemicals and that sort of thing. So
we want these as equal in volume as possible. But they don't have to be super exact. Okay.
No, it's not super critical. It's not super critical. Lucky enough, both companies make. That's probably turn on its side. Turn it on its side. No, like, can I see it from the side? I think that's a little too much of the gray.
Okay.
That's probably better.
Is that better? More better?
You just don't want to get overboard. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah.
Cool. It still looks okay. Cool. All right, cool. So there's that. Do we want to do
now
the yellow?
Now we can either mix those two sides together first, or we can do the yellow. Get the yellow prepped.
Let's mix them together. Yeah.
All right. So this is
there a special way to
watching
mix?
paint dry.
Oh.
No.
There's a podcast by that name. Michael does
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've
they
had him
keep
on the show.
threatening to have me on, but I don't know what the hell when that's going to happen.
Well,
they had you on though, so
yeah, a couple times.
People should look that up.
Yeah, and we've had him on. We've had them on, I should say.
Yeah, we have. We should have them on again.
Yeah.
All right. So you got your hands a little bit coated with this stuff.
We're making a Meininger size sculpt here. For those in Colorado, if you were ever in Colorado, there's an art store called Meininger's. And if you find yourself in there one afternoon, or probably afternoon during the day, hopefully not at night because you've broken in, wander to the very back left of the store, and in a little plastic clear box is a Gene Van Horn original from, I don't know, AKA 1974.
Yeah, Blackboard Games days, I think.
Oh my God, it's so awesome. And it's still, Jason, it's still there. I know you've seen it, haven't you? Have you gone in?
Yeah, you brought me to Meininger's and I couldn't believe it was still there.
I just went over the summer. Yeah, it was 20 years ago, Gene says, and it's still in the store. And I think there's a couple of dried up green stuff. I don't even know the brand. I don't think it's Need Tight or whatever, but yeah, they're still. They got probably like 3 inches of dust on them
from polymeric systems.
Yeah, so was pretty easy to mix up.
Yeah, well, I'm having a little more fun with mine because I think this Kneaded Tight is a little bit older. But you basically, with any epoxy putty that you're mixing together, the reason it's in two different colors is so you can tell when it's fully mixed. Okay, you don't want it streaky. Now this stuff will stay soft because we've mixed the proper sides together.
So, but it can't be, if it's exposed to air at some point, it'll dry out, no?
Over time, yeah. Okay. Over time, but it'll form a skin is what it does. And once you get really used to using putty, that skin, even during the curing process, that skin forms first. And you can use that to your advantage.
Thanks, Wicked Elf, for the gift sub. Cool. So anyway, is that good enough, you think?
Yeah, that's good enough for now, because we're going to mix it again once we mix the two together, right? So
that
I don't know if you're going to worry
pretty
about...
intense. Whew.
Yeah, I don't know. You can put a little bit in the bottom of your snooze can if you want, but
I got I have some serious vaporizing salve going on. I can't open this.
oh, it's just like Chinese mustard, right? It's good
Chinese
for you.
mustard. I don't know what
like
that
when
is.
you get that Chinese hot mustard and blows your sinuses out.
Oh, that's yes. I know what you're talking about. All right. Well, should I have? Maybe I should have. So here's my yellow ball, but I don't know if it's the same size as my blue ball was.
Yeah, you probably should have. Yeah,
I
you
should have
probably
done
should
that.
have, but it's okay. As long as, again,
Okay.
as long as that's the same size as the Aves, because
Part
it
A.
won't matter because you're going to take bits of each once
That's
it's
pretty.
all
Look
mixed
at that. That was.
together.
I'm a
That's pretty
natural.
good.
I've already got. Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I keep hearing that.
So, hey, just so I remember, in this thing, so if you're like, oh crap, do I do the blue with? I'm gonna do this. Do I do the blue with what? Blue with B.
Blue with
starts
B. That's
B.
the mnemonic.
Blue with B.
Yeah.
And then, well, all you have
You could
left
go,
is the yellow.
well, yellow
and A.
doesn't have an A in it, so yellow goes with A, but that's stupid.
Yeah.
Just say B goes with blue.
So Jason's basically said, if you thought that way, you're stupid.
No,
right?
I said the thought was stupid, not you. I've raised kids. I know how to do this. I know the dance.
Are you saying I'm a kid?
No, I'm just saying, you're never stupid. It's just your thoughts, right? I mean, that's your approach is dumb, but that's no personal thing about you.
You're completely wrong, but
come on, you've worked in groups.
Oh,
you know how this goes.
Yeah, I know.
Every day, probably.
Well, Zoom calls every day. I hate Zoom. Microsoft Teams, whatever.
Well, a couple things about putty. Both of these putties mixed together or separately, they cure faster with heat. You've probably seen putty ovens that people make with light bulbs and coffee cans. Some people use candle warmers. Some people use toaster ovens to create heat. I've hung them over my engine when I was driving to a deadline. I've hung them from lights in hotel rooms, various things like that. But any source of heat will accelerate the cure. You don't want to make it too hot because you'll get bubbles in the putty and it'll expand. So generally, I don't heat it any hotter than I can stand picking it up with my hands.
Okay.
The reverse is also true. If you've mixed up some putty or started a sculpture and you need to retard the setting of it, you can put it in the freezer or a refrigerator.
Did you hear that, Gene?
What?
You can put it in the freezer and it'll slow down. So if you're working on something and say I have a bigger sculpt and you have to plan out how you're going to utilize it because it's going to dry up on you.
Right.
Or
you maybe have a half an hour till it sets.
Okay. How long does it with the fridge extend that?
It's not. You don't want to leave it in there forever. I've managed to have it in there for a matter of hours. Sometimes a day later it'll still be okay. But obviously it's better to plan. But there's always things that come up. You got to do something with the dog or the kids or something.
Dog's got to go outside for a walk.
So. A sculptor by the name of Steve Lortz, who sadly has passed away, but was a great mentor to a lot of us sculptors in the early days. He actually kept a little bowl with ice and then a tinfoil or wax paper over the ice, and he would keep his mixed putty on that, so it didn't even set up that much as he was using it.
Oh. Hey, Rhonda. Rhonda's impressed with your patience.
Huh. This is the only thing I'm patient with.
Oh, yeah. I think it's more of your patience with instructing me.
Oh, well, I guess that is good.
You have had kids before.
I have had kids before.
Well, you
I've
still
worked
have
with
them.
all manner of people teaching them art. So, all right. So I'm going to cover those back up while we make the armature.
Okay. Awesome.
Now, because we don't have heat sources and we don't have, we're not going to do that today. So what I thought we'd do is a couple of different things so that we can work on one while the other is setting up. And then we'll pick up, let's see, what time is it? Yeah, we'll pick up again after we get this armature locked in place. We'll probably pick it up at the next session.
Okay.
With texture and detail. Sound good?
Sounds, yeah. Is there a particular
kind
kind of wire we're supposed to use? Like this is a very thin
the kind I
copper
sent,
wire.
the only kind I have, because I have shifted into digital more, is a little bit thin. This is, what is this, 18 gauge? This is actually 24. I prefer 18.
This is too big, what I have here.
No, if you want to, well,
that's pretty big. Yeah,
it's pretty big because the technique I'm going to use calls for us to double the wire and twist it.
I just saw that in my box. I use that for wire.
That actually might be big enough for a human sculpt. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Now, when we were talking about it, we decided to do a larger squirrel sculpture.
Yeah.
To do an actual scale for a 28 millimeter miniature, I frankly don't even know if I would armature it. I'd probably just make a little lump on that polyethylene sheet that was about right and use that for the armature after it hardened up. I'd
Let's
probably
go
wouldn't
armature
put any wire there at all.
Let's go.
Okay,
big.
so the most important measurement on any armature that you make is going to be the distance. Well, assuming it's a quadruped, is going to be the difference between the legs and the armpits, like the spine, right, from the neck down.
Yeah. Okay.
That distance we can't change once we start to make the armature. If we make the arms too long or the legs too long, and in fact, we're going to make the legs longer than we need to because we're going to want to put it in drilled holes in that bottle cap.
Okay.
Right? So we can trim all that off. We can trim a neck off, but you can't really change the length of the spine that easily.
Okay.
So that's going to be our first thing.
Okay.
Now, I don't know. I need to check. Patrick Keith on his website used to have a really neat armature diagram, but it's been a while since I checked to see if it was still there.
Okay.
But
now,
the
Reaper
other thing,
sells.
if you're making,
doesn't Reaper still sell some? Doesn't Reaper have some armatures?
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to mention. If you get the, I think they're advanced sculpting, basic sculpting. I can't remember the stick figure guys from Reaper. You can use those as a measure. Okay, the thing with those is being made out of tin. They don't take bending and rebending very well. So you have to decide with those. Once you bend it, it's bent. You can't go back and forth. Copper is a little bit more forgiving. Okay,
so what did you do there?
All right, so I folded it in half and I twisted the neck up. That's that part. I don't know.
And you, okay.
Folded in half, made some twists on the neck.
Try to do this.
Now there's some fancy stuff you can do. You can make that neck. You can actually make a little bubble out of the wire for a head, and even twist more out for an armature for the horns if you had horns on it. But we're just going to make a basic one now.
How's
So
that?
you might even. That's pretty good.
Pretty lame?
Do you have a little pair of pliers or anything?
I do. I was looking for them. I can't.
Because one of the benefits of using a soldered wire armature is that it is fairly stiff. This copper wire isn't all that stiff to push against, but as you twist it, it work hardens a little bit. And the additional stiffness we're going to do as we add the putty and let it set. So I
found
just
some
was
tiny
recommending. Yeah, I just was recommending to put those twists in a little bit tighter, not too tight, but.
Yeah, I don't have this strong manly hands like you do.
Yeah, well,
that's what
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Is that better?
But it shouldn't stop you from doing this. This is pretty.
No, hopefully not. Yeah, that's better,
okay,
right?
Okay, that looks good? Yeah.
Okay,
that's a huge neck, but that's okay.
Huge. The neck that's the head, right? Is this the head?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a lot of.
It's a lot of head. Let me see yours.
Well, I've been showing it to you. See this?
I can't.
See, here's
the
neck.
Okay. Wait.
Here, I'll hold this underneath.
Oh.
See, the one stub is the neck, and then the longer stub over here, that's actually an arm.
This is an arm? I'm confused. That's the arm.
Well, let me see your whole thing. What do you got going here? How long a wire do you have? All right.
Do I need to start over?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, because that's
okay. Let's start over.
Yeah. One of the best things about art is when you learn to just throw something away and start over.
Look, that's our first fail. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I should have been more clear. So the neck neck and head just needs to be a little stub.
All right.
I mean, it can be a bigger stub, but the neck you're going to make just down to the shoulders.
Oh, I was just focused on making this loop.
See, this is what I was afraid was going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So fold it in half. You got it folded in half?
Yeah, right here. See? It's folded in half. It's really long, too.
So take maybe the top 1/4 inch and twist just the top 1/4 inch of that fold.
Okay.
This is my problem as a teacher. I keep assuming things about my students. Okay. So there you've got that.
That I'm not a
neck,
moron? Right? You just need to assume that I'm going to do it wrong.
That's not what I meant. Okay.
Okay.
So then you're going to take one bit off of that. That's your neck and the top of your shoulders, right?
Okay.
So now take one leg of that.
One leg of the wire that's like left this over. Part. Yeah, this part right here.
Fold it
right?
over.
Okay.
See, I used a much bigger piece of wire, but that's okay. Much longer piece. Fold it over and make a twist, and that's going to be your arm. Don't clip anything.
So this is going to be. I got this is super long, so I got extra.
That's okay.
Right?
You're going to use it.
Okay.
It's better to clip it off at the end than have.
So what am I doing here? And now I need to just.
You're doing the same thing. You're gonna fold it to a peak at the end.
Okay.
And
is that
twist.
too long?
Is
that good? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think you're like, yeah.
Like I said, the arms and legs.
I gotta keep this going.
The arms. This isn't the critical stage. As long as the wire's long enough or too long, we're cool.
Oh, okay. All right. So there's that.
Now mirror that with the other side.
Okay, I can do that.
I've got way too much crap under where I'm trying to show here. I guess I needed a darker mat.
You need more light.
We'll learn. Well, I have the light. I have lights on everywhere.
Yeah, it's really dark looking though.
Well, all right. I'll fix it.
No, I mean, I'm just saying. My arms are so. Is this right? Look at that.
So yeah, cool, very good. Now I don't know. What's that extra bit you have up there?
It's just like sticking
Oh
out.
no. Did you fold that wire in half to start with? Because
Yeah.
you're supposed to have two coming down.
Huh.
You got
Let me
one
see
coming
yours.
down.
Let me see yours. Oh my God. Let me see. Yeah. Mine doesn't look anything like yours. Except all right. So we're getting the wire.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna make a little.
We're
thing up
running
here.
out of natural resources everywhere on the planet. So you got to get this right. Okay, that's enough for the stub. It's enough for the stub.
Okay,
Don't go any farther.
this is my stub.
That's it.
All right.
Yep.
Now
Okay.
what?
Now, is your wire folded in half?
Yeah. See
See,
how
this
long
is-
it is? See, this is like
Okay,
super
cool.
long. Okay.
Now take one
So-
leg of that half
One of the wire. Okay.
and bend it out at a perpendicular angle.
A right angle.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give it a little
Ish.
distance for the arm.
So right about here and fold it in.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Fold it. That's probably a little too long. Make it a little
All right.
shorter.
Okay. How about that? How about that?
That's very good. Okay. Now twist
Okay,
that
cool.
together.
Okay. This is why Gene always said, just go get one of those armatures that Reaper makes because you can't do this part.
Right. But see, Gene didn't have to bend his armature all around like I always did. So I always liked the ability to repose it. Gene always had that picture in his head. He just bent it, and that's all he had to do.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So there's that one.
So now you take that other end, the other side.
Okay.
So which is the shorter side now? You should have a short side and a long side on your wire.
This is my longer side. This is the longer side.
Okay, take your longer side and repeat that operation.
Okay.
With this is your other arm. No, now what do you?
Okay. I was measuring, so I had the arms the same length. That seems pretty intuitive.
We can cut them
That's
the same length.
Well.
The reason I do it that way is sometimes you leave a loop or leave a little extra material so that if you have to tie in a sword, you can actually put the sword in before you do the hand and wire it right into the armature, right? There.
Look at that.
Hey, that's looking good.
Third try.
Okay, now you want to make sure that the neck and that T-bar on the shoulders, that's all kind of good and cinched together and pretty much in the middle and the whole thing. Okay?
So now this is the head. This is the head.
Part.
This is the head, right? That's the neck.
Yep.
This is the left arm. This is the right arm, and here the body is going to be down here.
Yeah. Okay. Now I would take that center area of the cross that you made and just shift it over so it's a little bit more under the neck. Just bend it over a little bit. See what I'm saying? It's not critical. But when you're twisting this, you don't want to leave any gaps in the wire that aren't unfilled.
I got that.
We'll fill it. We'll fill it. Don't worry about it. You don't want. It's a good practice not to leave gaps in there because if those turn into air gaps, if you were to vulcanize this,
is that better?
Air would cause a problem. Yeah.
I still got a gap.
Now this next measurement is what I was talking about being the critical one. It's how long the spine is going to be. So this is going to determine how long or how tall your squirrel is going to be.
Okay.
Got it? Because everything else we can clip it really short, right?
Okay. Okay.
See? Okay.
This is the spine that we're now working on.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm just.
I wouldn't make it very long.
Seems like my neck is long, too long. But I can.
Well, my back is sore.
No.
My chiropractor said it was from carrying you through these shows.
So am I. I'm getting a fuss over me today.
That one
was
actually
great.
made me laugh out loud. So thank you for that, Jason.
Clip that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Someone clipped that.
All right. So you see, yeah, okay. So
That's about it.
that's going to be a damn tall squirrel.
Well, I can undo. So my spine should be
a little
much.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
you see, I'm trying to.
I thought we could always clip, but you said that the spine was the thing you can't
clip
change.
the spine as easy. There's stuff you can do. I mean, you can bow it out, and because it's all going to be jammed up in the chest anyway. But just for
Is that better?
Purposes of, yeah, okay, that looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right, now. Now you're going to do the legs, but the legs are going to require a little. Now let's just do it the easy way.
Do it the same way as the arms?
Yeah, same way as the arms. There's a way you can pull out a foot for when you're going to bury this in that bottle cap. But since we're going to let it set for a while before we work on it, it'll be hard enough to push against. The whole idea for an armature is you before you start sculpting the detail, even when you're bulking it out, you want it to be pretty firm. Okay. Right now, it's not going to be firm. The putty blend that we've made will make it firm once we bulk it out a little bit, and that's probably where we'll end this part of this show.
Okay. So make some legs.
Make your legs.
And are the legs a proportional longer than the arms, or does it matter?
Yeah, I'd make them a little longer because remember, we're going to try to bury this we're going to drill holes in that pop lid. And we're going to pull the bottom of the leg down through the pop lid, and then we're going to secure it underneath with more putty.
Better longer than shorter, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is this length looking right? If I start twisting that?
Because since it's a squirrel, it's going to have shorter legs anyway, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I also like to bend in a little hip in there as well.
We can't see you.
All right.
Your workspace might need a little bit more light there, Jason.
Yeah.
You can boost
There's
it on
no
the
way
camera
I
just
can
a
do
little
that
bit
right now, but I have my light on.
No, I mean like the camera itself has an exposure setting on the side. You might as well just hit that button and it'll brighten it for you a little bit.
Has an exposure setting?
I believe so, yes.
It's almost towards the bottom of the green tower. It'll exposure plus, exposure minus, EXP.
You see clicks.
That's a focus.
Yeah, it keeps going
didn't
down.
You say click it?
So see the power switch on the very bottom?
Yeah, it's getting brighter.
Yeah.
Keep going. There you go. That's probably good for now.
Okay. All right. So, well, now it's all washed out. But anyway, you see that little hip?
Where? See. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and that's just the very end of my little pliers. And then fold it over.
Yeah, I did that too. Not.
So then go ahead and match that leg. Doesn't need to be matched. Just make sure it's as longer than the other one. Don't make it shorter. That's really the only thing. See, this is really forgiving this way. Hey, that's pretty good. I tighten it up a little bit.
Tighten it up.
I tighten it up a little bit. I make sure those hips are in there.
Okay. And Derek's been offering a lot of advice in chat.
I haven't been looking.
Yeah. The great Derek Schubert has joined us today. The former Oakland Bay Area Derek Schubert is now the main coonhound.
Yeah, he's a Gordon fisherman.
Yeah. And so, show me the pelvis thingy that you put. How'd you do that? Oh, okay.
Just a little bit of a gap there. I mean, just a little bit, because we don't want them to come down in a V. Now, this is why we have a little extra wire left over, because it's a squirrel, right? So
yeah, it needs a tail.
Take that. Yeah, we're going to take that, and we're going to go ahead and make a tail.
I ruined your reveal. I'm sorry. Am I doing that with both strands or just one strand?
Sure, both. No, not just one. One would be too
flimsy.
Like I said, you want to. Ultimately, you'll need a very firm armature once we lock it in with putty.
So so here's my little guy, and there's the wires coming out the back end, and I'm just going to spin out a good length for an extra long tail that we can clip off, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then you can get rid of the extra of the 2 bits that you have left, and then just throw them in your bits box in case you need them for something else, I guess. Painting or whatever.
And where can I get more wire? Where's the best place to go get this gauge of?
Hardware stores usually have it. Picture framer areas.
Okay. And what gauge did we use today? And what gauge should we think about using?
This is 24. I'd use probably 18.
18?
20.
Okay. 18 or 20?
Yeah, the gauges get the number on the gauge gets lower as the gauge gets larger.
Okay. And so this other stuff that I had, what gauge do you think this is?
I can't tell. It looks like it's 22 or 24. It's hard for me to tell. 20.
Oh, this.
I'm sorry. No, that's 18. 18
okay,
or 16.
This is 8. Okay. So I could use this maybe for something bigger.
You could, but since this is going to be a smaller squirrel, it's going to be smaller than a person. So we don't want to be overpowered by the loops in the armature either.
He could be a roided out squirrel.
Yeah, well, we can do a lot of that with putty too. I mean,
that's true. So you think my tail's long enough?
Yeah, and I'm going to actually cut off my 2 little extra bits of copper wire, and you want to be careful with that. Obviously, you don't want to just chuck that around, because if it gets in your electronics, it's no good. Sorry, that's a dad talking.
Well, thank you. And my 2 failed.
It was terrible. I have 2 adult daughters. I bought them both these really cool rechargeable miniature tool sets, Dremel and an angle grinder and all that other stuff. And they'll both use them. But of course, the dad thing kicked in, so I had to give them safety goggles and the whole deal, and the lecture when they open them. And they're both looking at me like, come on, we know this stuff.
Well, they're weebies.
Yeah.
That's the genetics. They already have it in them. All righty.
Well,
so
they both built stuff right along with me. So
yeah. And let's talk like our opening music. Can you want to mention that we actually had some intro music for the first time ever on this show?
Yeah, we have a theme song now. Oh, well, we have theme music, and maybe we'll try to figure out sometime, have a contest to see what kind of words should go with the music.
Oh.
But it was written, composed, and produced by Matt LaFave and Kyle Potter on the percussion. And I put a link right at the start in chat.
Justin, play the music just briefly.
Which one? The intro music?
Yeah, Gene wants to hear the intro.
So that's our music.
Yay.
And if you look at the very beginning of the chat, I actually had put in, and I'll continue to do that every time we start up. I put in a link to their YouTube page, and I think from their YouTube page you can go listen to their music.
What's the name of the band?
I'm not sure. I didn't purposely didn't say the band because they have a couple different ones, and I don't know which one they actually used to produce this. So one of their bands is a heavy metal band. I'm not sure that they would want to be known for for doing a title song.
We have an outro song that will play at the end too. Okay, I got my little guy. He's really squirrely.
Okay. So I've actually added a couple of knees here.
Ooh. We didn't see that. How'd you do that? Do I just bend?
So I bent where I thought the knee should go, which is fairly critical, but not terribly because this is a pretty furry creature.
Mm-hmm. So just make a bend.
Yep, just a bend.
Okay, one bend. Okay.
Yep, because we're trying to figure out a good neutral pose. We can change it a little bit once it's dry and set.
How's that?
Looks good. Now bend it back and digitigrade legs like this. That's that next bend is like where the heel is, like a dog's heel.
Okay.
And it corresponds to your heel too. Most animals walk around on their toes.
I do. How's that?
Yeah, that looks good. You might want to shorten that up just a little bit because you're going to need some.
Shorten.
Let me see. You're going to want the actual foot to be a little bit longer. So I would shorten the bend you made for the heel. I would shorten the distance between the heel and the knee.
Okay.
Now, as I recall, this screaming squirrel was just pretty much standing with his legs about the same and screaming into the air. So
how's that? I think that's a little better.
Yeah.
All right.
I would probably put one leg just a little bit further ahead than the other at this point.
Oh, like the thighs forward a little bit?
Like this from the side. Just so it's not quite symmetrical.
Okay.
It gives a little more interest if one leg is going to be backing out a little bit, splayed out a little bit.
All right. I think I got, yeah.
If you just make it so both the legs are facing exactly forward, it's a more boring figure than if you have one leg kind of splayed out and back and one a little bit forward, even if it's supposed to be kind of symmetrical.
I want my squirrel to have soul. Yes.
Yeah. So all we had to do, that's where we can stop on the armature for now. And we'll grab and kind of figure out where your two holes are going to go in your pop cap. You have to imagine the legs coming down to the feet.
Okay.
So
we can't see you. There you go. Being on camera is difficult. Okay, so where am I? So if I'm taking this, the little circles, the little hoops are kind of looking where that is, and that's going to
Yeah, I
be
would squeeze those completely flat
okay.
for now.
Squeeze these. Okay,
The hoops,
the hoops. Got
because
it.
you're gonna stick those through the holes here pretty quick. Now, is that the cap that came with the
Yes.
holder? Okay,
Yeah, I don't have any other caps.
I assume
I'm
that's just a
enjoying.
regular cap.
Yeah, this little soda cap. I'm sure it's. I
Yeah,
don't know.
okay.
It'll. Cool.
I
And
just
then
don't want you to mess up something that you might use later.
I don't. Yeah, I when I paint, I just use these things. So um, that's just what I'm used to. So this will be perfect as a sculpting apparatus. So there's my little guy, and here's where his feet are going. Should I just drill some holes that where it's going to line up?
Yeah, more or less, and we can adjust it.
Okay. Exciting viewing.
Well, that's the thing. There's not, there's some of this isn't all that exciting. I'm actually going to put 2 holes in mine to see which looks better.
I think my drill bit is too small.
Well, you can take that little end and twist it as tight as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to clip off the very end of that bubble that you have left.
I fixed it.
Yeah, you can always ream it out a little bit more with an X-Acto knife.
Phrasing.
Yep, that's what I'm about to do too.
All right. Oh wait, mine's not on camera. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. Little thing.
Looking good.
So, Derek suggested looking up a squirrel skeleton online, which sounds like a fantastic idea.
It's a very good idea. If it depends on the kind of squirrel you're making, this one is going to be a little more anthropomorphic, but
yeah.
Yes, look up a squirrel skeleton.
Yeah, but ours is going to be, hopefully, I know yours is going to come out looking like an anthropomorphic squirrel, but we'll see what mine looks like.
Well, I thought a squirrel was a good thing for you to pick. It was a wise self-preservational move. Okay, so
I got him in the holes.
Okay, very good.
Oops, there we go.
So
these cameras, Justin, are working out really well for this, by the way.
So then you're going to want to bend over the the things, the stubs.
Got it. Stubs. Got it. Ooh, yeah. Cool. Look at that.
Now he's going to want to slide down a little bit in there, which is okay. We're going to put some clay to stop that from happening. Some putty
underneath
to stop that from happening. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, I pushed it down and did that. Okay.
Now, if we left more wire, we could actually have twisted it underneath as well. But that can deform the whole thing as well. So you'd have to be careful there. So I would get just a little tiny bit
of,
looks like maybe a pea size.
Okay. Of each and mix it together.
Of each.
Okay. There's a pea.
Now, this is where you want to be pretty careful about measuring both P's.
Okay. That might be
You
pretty
want to be
good.
pretty close in size. Okay.
Okay. I
And
think I'm doing
mix it
good on the
together.
P's.
Good job.
Thanks.
Well, as you said, you're a natural.
Well, that's what I've been told.
Yeah, I even heard it. I heard that.
From?
I heard some very high potentate actually
Ah.
say that in the miniatures industry.
Yeah, but that wasn't related to sculpting.
Well, sort of.
That was relating.
Everything is
Something
related
else.
to sculpting.
Cool. And again, so for those that joined us late, please go to the beginning and you will see that it looks like right now we just used blue and yellow stuff together to create green stuff. We actually incorporated epoxy sculpt into it as well. And B is blue, A is yellow, 50-50 to the 50-50.
Yep, you're safe as long
so-
as you mix the B side with the blue. It won't
Yes.
harden up, so you can store that separately. Now, when you put this putty underneath the cap,
Okay.
remember the cap
Yep.
is going to have to screw down onto the holder.
Oh,
So you don't want to get that putty anywhere near where the grooves are, where the threads are.
Got it. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Cool. Oh, are you putting stuff on the body now?
Yeah, but you have to kind of
Okay.
prop it up because you don't want to loosen too much underneath the.
Okay. I didn't mix any. I thought we were just doing the base thingy.
Well, it should have been enough, but
Well, I didn't. My pea was more of a dehydrated pea. I think it was a little on the small side.
so you use the whole thing underneath there. That's fine.
Yeah, it seemed like it kind of needed it, but
Yeah, no, that's fine.
so at this point when we're mixing the green stuff together, there was always that talk about you put more yellow in or you put more blue in depending on what you want to do. But when you're using this epoxy sculpt mix in there, does that not apply anymore, or
you
does that make
can
sense?
you can change the property of the hardened putty a little bit. The deal with the Aves that what you're going to wind up with is a far less flexible putty. So
Okay.
in your initial mix, if you wanted it to be a little more flexible, like green, you'd use a little bit more of the Kneadatite and a little bit less of the Aves.
Okay.
I don't
But at
like
this
to
point,
mix. I don't like
Go
to
ahead.
mix too much difference in the two sides once we get to there.
Okay.
You can, but it takes a while to figure out exactly what color is going to yield what result. And it's really easy to overestimate one side or the other if you don't make them even. And
Okay.
you'll
So I
wind
got-
up with a putty that doesn't set correctly.
So I have my probably overcompensated with redoing my P, and now I'm gonna just build in where his hips and stuff are.
Yep. I would
And
go
then-
ahead and loop it underneath his groin there, lock his hips in. Don't worry so much about the legs yet. We'll do that last. I would
Okay.
get some on, and don't worry at all about the arms.
Also wanted to let you guys know we're approaching 6:30.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to a good stopping point here.
Thanks, Justin. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What do you think, Justin?
I think it looks just like a squirrel.
I need to get more practice in getting stuff under the light.
Definitely can't tell.
What
the
did
difference.
Justin say?
I think it looks just like a squirrel. That's what he said.
Well,
Thanks,
that's
Justin.
good.
I was asking, what did you think of I want to ask the folks that are still watching, because we've been on for a long time. What do you think about
everyone
this?
went
Was
home.
this
No one's
fun?
watching anymore.
Okay.
But we're having fun.
Oh yeah, I'm having fun. So, got kind of a triangle going on.
A triangle?
Yeah, look. Is that too much?
No, that's okay. We can work with that.
Okay. It's got a little droopy butt.
So I'm going to go ahead really quickly here, and if this is a step you can always do in between shows.
Okay.
But we'll want those legs pretty well coated with putty. Now, one of the things you'll find with the Aves
Can you show it
is
a
it
little bit
adheres to
closer?
this Aves mix.
Yeah, turn it so they can, like, if you were painting it, yeah, just so it's easier to see.
I don't know how I would be painting it.
Well, see how, just do it like that. So.
Oh, so you stuck it on the handle already.
Should I not?
No, I'll do it too.
You sent this, you wanted to use this handle. So.
No, I know. This is the hobby holder that was in the Reaper swag box last summer, I think.
Does Reaper sell these things, or?
I don't know.
So now I got to put it on the legs. Now, when you put it on the legs, you make a little snake of the putty and you just push it onto it and then work it around? Okay.
Yeah, and you'll find with this Aves blend, it sticks to the copper wire better than the green did. Just put green by itself. And because this is a stiffer putty, just doing this step between this and what's underneath the bottle cap will give you enough of a surface or a stiffness to push against.
So when somebody's doing this for the first time, what is the common mistakes you see?
The first thing would be not
just
putting
watch
on
what I'm doing. Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
If they're sculpting for the first time, a lot of times it's the armature and not twisting the wire tight enough. A lot of times it's not working the putty completely into the grooves in between the. Now you can use a little bit of your Skinner balm on the tip of your tool, but you want to wipe off, kind of like you do with the extra paint onto your thumbnail or your salt cellar on your hand.
Yeah, just on the tip.
Yeah, I got to figure out a better position to.
And I don't even know if I've been on camera. Now, I want as smooth and as even around the wire as possible, or is it mainly just getting coverage on the wire at this point?
It's mainly getting coverage, but you want to keep it thin enough that you don't have to shave it down. But even if we have to shave it down, it's not a deal breaker.
So I'm not going for any form right now. I'm just going for
not really.
coverage.
Although at this point you should, by the pose and stuff, you should at least have it fixed in your head, kind of the way it's going to go.
Okay.
Okay, but this is totally editable at this point.
Cool. Alrighty. We're at half past now. Do we? Well, let's draw some names. Let's draw some names if we're at that level.
But I would go ahead. I would do it to this.
Let me see. Oh my. Okay, I'll do the chest and I'll do the legs. So I want. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and one thing that I was going to show you. Go ahead and do.
Hey, hashtag. Yeah, hashtag free, everybody. We're going to give you a few seconds to do the hashtag free, and we're going to draw. And how many Poke Tools are we giving away today, Justin?
18, I think he said.
Yeah, something like that. Justin?
Yeah, I need to figure out a better way to...
Oh, I
Justin.
realized. Sorry. We are giving away 2 Poke Tools.
2 Poke Tools. So here we go. Poke Tool. We're giving away 2 in just a second. While Justin draws the name, we give a couple more seconds for hashtag free to get in. This is the Crow's Nest exclusive Poke Tool sculpted by, on the front, by Julie Guthrie. Fantastic Crow's Nest sculpture. Oops, here's the front. And on the back, lettered expertly by Barbara Dolphy. So give a shout out to them.
You guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
First name is...
Congratulations to Grumble Drum.
And
congratulations, Grumble Drum. And second winner and the last winner of the day is Iron Lord 2K9. Congratulations. Yeah, thanks for the subs. I saw that Wicked Elf threw some subs in, so that was pretty awesome. I missed the other ones, so thank you for that. I think Dark Abacus may have thrown in a couple of subs too. Without me watching.
It's hard. I couldn't watch a chat as much as I normally do because I'm trying to watch this.
Best
notice,
Tuesday night show. Mo Brock says, "Thanks, Mo Brock. Appreciate that." Yeah,
I'm using these curved tweezers that I sent you, and that helps me work this putty against the wire.
Oh. I see. That's cool.
Yeah, you can do an awful lot of sculpting with tweezers.
I'm going to start...
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So next week, we're efforting to go back to normal format show next week. And so join us for that. We'll have a guest on. Pretty sure it's going to be Trey Manor with Redbox Games. He's got a new Kickstarter out there. We pubbed it at the beginning of the show. Definitely check that out. It's super awesome. And yeah, tweezers are great in a pinch, just so you know. Tweezers for the win.
Absolutely.
And I don't have.
So if you have any putty left over, just take a snake. And just flatten it out on your polyethylene sheet.
Make a little snake.
And then you're just going to leave that sit till it hardens up. And when you peel that off, you're going to be able to carve that into a dagger or whatever.
Oh.
Look at that.
We'll do that. We'll have that ready to go. Alrighty.
Awesome.
Thank you. See you guys next week.
Thanks very much. Have a great rest of your night.
Check out the other Reaper shows and painting Reaper Toolbox 10:30, 11:30 somewhere. It depends on your time zone. Monday through Friday. Rhonda's on Mondays. And then Wednesdays, Luca. And that other Reaper live show on Thursdays. And then Reaperland on Fridays. No Reaper Errant this week, but next week. Roll for initiative.
Thank you guys very much. Have a great rest of your night.
Later. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.